Here's the Heathkit Advanced Weather Computer just as it came from the factory. This particular model of Heathkit is an IDW-5001-C. The W indicates it was factory assembled and tested. Here's the smaller of the two boxes. Let's unpack it. First thing we have, Part 04, the technical manual. Next thing we have, Part 02, the rain collector. And finally, this envelope, Part 05, that's the software. Now let's take a look at each one of these individually. This box has Part 04 in it, our technical manual. Let's check it out. Looks like we have some binder hardware. A sheet that shows how to assemble the binder, and our technical manual. This box has Part 02 in it, the rain collector. Let's open it up. And there's our shiny new rain collector. I'm sure that looks familiar to a lot of you Heathkit collectors. We'll grab our next one. Here's Part 05, our software. Let's take a look inside. Oh, this is old school. Take your pick, 5 1/4 floppy or 3 1/2 disc. No CDs in this package. This is our main box. Let's go ahead and unpack it. Let's remove the bubble wrap. And we have a few pieces of cardboard on either end we can remove. Let's remove the metal strip. That's part of our barometer calibration device. Since our weather station was factory assembled and tested, we shouldn't need it. Let's remove our wind boom and cable. Now let's unpack each compartment. Looks like we have a humidity sensor, and based on the length of cable, that would be our indoor one. And let's unpack our outdoor humidity sensor. One thing about Heathkit is they would use newspaper in their boxes for packing material. If you're not sure when you bought your Heathkit, Sometimes it's just as simple as looking at the newspaper in the box. So I'm curious what the date is on this newspaper. October 23rd and 24th, 1993. That puts it about 20 years old. Okay, we can unpack our temperature sensors now. One nice thing about Heathkit is they gave you an indoor temperature sensor, unlike today's weather stations, where it's usually inside the weather console. Our indoor temperature sensor. And here's our outdoor temperature sensor. Let's move on to the next compartment. Here's the first thing we have. Our calibration thermometers. The white one being the older style and the silver one being the new style. It's interesting they put one of each in here. These are the metal strips for the rain collector. They hold the top of the rain collector to the base. We have some tubing for our barometer calibration device. We have some hardware. Not sure what's in there, but we won't worry about it right now. Our end caps for our wind boom. We have some tubing, which I think is for our barometer calibration device. Some more hardware. And finally, our U-bolt assembly for our wind boom. Now let's unpack the final compartment. Looks like we have our wind cups. Now we're ready to unpack the weather computer. And there's one more piece in there. That would be our wind vane. And that completes unpacking the main box. Okay, let's finish unpacking the weather computer. I'll move the power cord out of the way here. And we just got some plastic left. And there's our weather computer. Here's a quick look at the keypad on the front of the weather computer. Everything there is pretty self-explanatory. Here's a look at the back of the weather computer. The upper left bank of terminals is for the outdoor and indoor humidity sensors. The lower left bank of terminals is for the outdoor and indoor temperature sensors. The RS-232 port is in the middle. The upper right bank of terminals, the two far left terminals, are for the external 9-volt battery. The middle two terminals are for the rain collector, and the right two terminals are for the white and black wires of our wind sensors. If you'll notice clear over on the right side, the metal clip is what holds the 9-volt battery. And finally, our lower right bank of terminals is for our wind sensors. Here's a look with all the sensors connected. I did not connect the external 9-volt battery, and I did not connect the rain collector. I've double checked all my connections. Let's move the camera around to the front and fire this thing up. There's nothing wrong with the video. I have it dark for a reason, as you will see in a minute. I'm ready to power up the weather computer, so let's plug it in. We have power, our green LED is lit, and we're waiting for our backlight to come on. There we go. The clock has automatically gone into set mode. We can set the clock and date at this time, or ignore it, and it will return to normal time mode after a minute. You will notice on the display we have wind speed and direction, temperature, barometer, and humidity, but no rainfall. What's the deal with that? We have a rain collector. By default on power up, rainfall is hidden on the display. Why? Because the rain collector is an option when you purchase the 5001. If you have a rain collector, in order to get rainfall to show up on the display, you would need to connect the rain collector to the back of the weather computer. Then the tipping bucket would need to tip once for the weather computer to sense there's a rain collector connected. However, I can simulate that by shorting between the two lug terminals on the back of the weather computer where the rain collector connects. I'll do that now, and you should see the rainfall show up on the display just below the humidity readings. And there's our rainfall. You'll see our clock has started counting, and all of our rate of change arrows are lit up next to our readings. This is normal until we establish a rate of change for each sensor. I've adjusted the backlight intensity to where I think it looks best, and I've set the date and time. It looks like our sensors are working okay, but we need to test the wind speed and direction. Let's do that now. Notice the wind compass has 32 points of resolution versus the ID-5001, which has 16. Also notice the wind speed is instantaneous and not a sample rate. And that checks good. The rate of change has two settable thresholds. When you exceed the first threshold, you trip the alert on the weather computer. When you exceed the second threshold, you trip the warning. Let's test the alert on the weather computer. I will increase the outdoor temperature at a steady rate to set off the alert. You will see it on the display and get an audible beep. There's the alert. The rate of change arrow next to the outdoor temperature indicates a rapid rate of change. If I press the rate button, it shows the rate of change to be 14 degrees. Now let's check the warning on the weather computer. Let's increase the outdoor temperature again, only this time much more rapidly, which will set off the warning. You will see it on the display and get an audible tone. There's the warning. The rate of change arrow next to the outdoor temperature indicates a very rapid rate of change. If I press the rate button, it shows the rate of change to be 28 degrees. Next, let's try the fog indicator on the display. To do this, we will need little or no wind speed and very high humidity. I will put the outdoor humidity sensor in a chamber and increase the humidity inside the chamber. You should see the fog indicator come on just below the outdoor humidity reading on the display. There's our indication of fog. I'm curious what will happen if I increase the wind speed to 10 to 20 miles per hour. Let's do that and see if the fog indicator will disappear. And there it goes. Now let's stop our wind speed and see if it comes back on. And now it's back on. That works pretty good. I'm going to allow the sensors to stabilize for a while, and then I'll come back and do a calibration check. Our sensors have stabilized. Our indoor and outdoor temperature sensors are sitting right next to each other, and they are indicating 68 degrees. Let's see what the actual air temperature is in this room. Here's our dry bulb thermometer, and you can see the air temperature is 68 degrees. So our temperature sensors check out good. Next, let's check the humidity calibration. Our indoor and outdoor humidity sensors are sitting right next to each other, and they are indicating 37%. Let's run our sling psychrometer for 2 or 3 minutes and see what we get for relative humidity. Here's our wet bulb temperature. It is 53.6 degrees, and our dry bulb is 68.0 degrees. Now let's check our station pressure. Let's get our station pressure reading from our mercury barometer. The current station pressure is 29.065. Let's take that reading along with our wet and dry bulb temperatures and put them in the computer and see what our relative humidity is. You can see I put in our dry bulb temperature of 68.0 degrees. Our wet bulb temperature is 53.6 degrees, and our station pressure is 29.065 inches of mercury. Over on the right, our relative humidity is 37.43%. So our humidity sensors check out great. Now let's check our barometer calibration. Our barometer is indicating 29.76. Okay, here's our official barometric pressure reading at this location, and it's 29.76. So our barometer checks out just as well. That's all I have for now. I hope you enjoyed this video of the Heathkit ID-5001 weather station. Here comes a tornado. Watch the wind speed. "100 miles an hour!" Alright, that's enough fun for one day.